Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. Doing a little different around here this week. Tough week this week. Loss to the Browns. Never good for
Oh,
anybody. We are doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. We're going to have some Raven scratch-offs to give away. Also, our friends at Jiffy Lube Multicare powering Luke up and back and forth. Big week. Game on Sunday, game next Thursday. Cincinnati, Denver on the back end of a loss now, 5-3. Also want to give a shout-out to our friends at Curio Wellness and Far and Dotter as well. As our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions for making our water crystal clear. 1-800-CLEAN-WATER is the way to make sure that that happens for Liberty Pure. Also, your plumbing needs, well water needs, all of that's there. Had a long conversation about strains and gains with Wendy Bronfine last week, as well as Duran Duran playing the CFG Arena building this week. Leonard Raskin joins us now. He is Raskin Global. I've got the Raskin Global on. I'm wearing Dodger blue. Does that mean anything for you, Leonard, this week? I mean,
uh,
trying to take the
beat the
blues
Yankees.
away. Yeah,
Beat
beat
the
the well.
Yankees. Let's hope. I mean, I'm not a big fan of either, but I'd rather see the Dodgers than the Yankees. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can't. If you're East Coast, you can't hate the Dodgers, right? Like,
No, not at all.
what have they ever
And
done to
and
you?
watching Otani is just unreal. As I
And they
said,
got out of the way in '66. You know what I mean? So
right, right.
what's
No, I'm
what?
all about it. Like I said, I'm not. I mean, I look. These teams are buying players left and right, and I'm all for that. Otani, brilliant. Took a big contract, deferred a bunch of it because he doesn't want to pay California income tax. And by the time he's done his contract, he might go back to Japan and not pay any U.S. tax. I don't know how that's going to work out, but
Is this dude in prison? The dude that squandered all the money
I think so.
allegedly that he had
Right,
nothing to do with the
right.
gambling, right?
Well, the culture is safe face, so he dove on the samurai for his best friend, I guess. That's. I mean, he
You
might
know,
not have.
the
He might
culture
not
is
have.
safe face. You're right
Right.
about that.
So he might not have. It might be
I bet
legit
that
that
is the
he.
biggest scandal in Japan that there's ever been,
Oh,
right?
I'm sure. Look, well, no, probably not, because have you ever read Freakonomics?
Mm-mm.
It's a good book. You should check it out if you haven't read it. It's a guy who was trained as an economist, went to school, got his degree as an economist, but didn't want to do traditional economist stuff. So he did economic stuff, but not like interest rates and markets and economy. He did some other things that were economic based decisions that people made and why. Like, why do drug dealers live at home with their mother? Things like that. But one of the biggest scandals in history was when it was found that they rigged sumo wrestling matches.
Oh,
And that was
okay.
enormous because honor is everything. And they found that it was being rigged for money. Go figure. They were
Right.
betting, and it
Black
was
Sox
rigged for money.
scandal, just.
Right, right. In a much bigger sense. Pun
I think
intended.
we're all fools if we want to get on a time anything to avoid the Browns Ravens. We'll get to that in a minute because
Oh,
it's been a rough week around here.
it
But
is.
I would just say anything that involves the gambling money thing, and that's everything in this country right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Something fishy's going on somewhere.
Something's happening.
So,
And when they
so
say
you know,
when they
there's just
say
too
it's
much
not
money
about the
involved.
money,
So,
it's about the money.
all right. So, we
Browns,
we didn't get to
Ravens.
we didn't get together last week at all, right? So
Oh,
had we
yeah.
gotten together last week, five in a row,
Look
feeling
great.
great. We're
Look
going to the Super
great.
Bowl. We're number one in everybody's power rankings and all that.
Absolutely. And now we're number like 20.
I don't know if you caught my pregame. I mean, I've gotten really good at speaking of gambling. I've gotten really good at predicting football games. Like
Hey,
if I did do it, I probably wouldn't be awful at it. I'm smart enough to think that it's not a vocation or it's nothing more than entertainment purposes. But if I were putting $100 a week up on games and Hollywood Casino were sponsored,
yeah,
or
yeah.
Raskin Global wanted to underwrite it and
No,
say, here's your
not so
5 grand
much.
for the year, turn it into 10. See
We're
if
not
you're
about
really,
gambling. We're
let's
not
see if
about the
you're
gambling.
really an expert or
Right,
not, right?
right.
I'd rather give my money to you and let the market factors play,
That's
even in an
right.
election week where your guy's crazy and I can't believe anybody, including you, is voting for him. But that's okay. But nonetheless,
I'll
I'm not
I'll
leaving
let
the
you
country this
ramble.
week.
I'll let you
I'm
ramble.
not leaving the country this week because only one side's going to claim a rigged election when they lose next
You
Wednesday morning,
think?
and that's your
You really
side.
think so?
You, you don't think he'll claim a rigged election if
Not
he
when he
loses?
wins. Not
What
when
do
he
you think?
wins. No.
Oh my God! I mean,
Okay.
God,
Well,
God
then
forbid that
then
guy's
we'll
running
see
for
what your
president.
side says when he wins.
Nonetheless, I digress.
Yes. Let's talk about the Ravens and gambling and and picks. So let me back up a
Well, you're
second here.
gambling on this, and if Kyle Hamilton catches the ball, you know the bet goes to, right.
Right,
Well, maybe not
right.
covering in the
I don't
Ravens
I don't
case
know
this
the
week,
I
but
don't know the odds. I mean I don't know the spreads. I don't do that. But I am involved in a college pool where it's 15 games a week, straight up, no points, pick them, win lose. That's it.
you have to pick 15 winners.
15 games. You just know you pick 15 games. It's the whole season.
Oh, season, not every week.
No, no,
Okay, all
no.
right.
Oh, hang on. 15 a week. The head of the league picks the 15 games. They're all ranked team games. You pick the winner, 15 games. At the end of the season, you see who has the highest win total.
So there's
And
150 games. You
yeah,
10, 10,
whatever it
10,
is,
15 times 10 weeks. All right,
right?
okay.
No, it's actually like 14 weeks. It's a
Okay.
little longer.
Okay.
And you just see who comes out with the most wins. After 9 weeks, I'm happy to say I am in first place. I went 14-1 this past weekend. I had my hopes set that Navy could beat Notre Dame. Didn't happen, but I won every other game I picked.
So
So
I've been doing sales calls all week. The last week I have a whole. It's the end of the year. I
yeah,
have clients like, but people like you that don't. You don't make me show you everything that I do. The most retweeted, most commented piece I had, and
yeah,
I tried to explain this to somebody who has a multi-tiered business here, that like if you're looking for what comments on social media get the most
sure,
activity,
sure.
it's F you, no F you, no F
Right,
you, no,
right. The
it's
crazy
Trump, it's
controversial
Biden, it's
stuff. Right,
Reagan, it's Carter, it's
right.
right. It is what it is. The most controversial commented thing, the thing that I've been called an idiot and had the guy that slings seafood in Dundalk who doesn't know his ass from his elbow disparaging me and all this,
Right.
was last week when you disappeared. You're
Yeah.
one of the few people in life that you brought up college football with me a minute ago.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
I rarely watch college football. It's like it's gone from my life a little bit. Lee Corso. I mean, it comes to me, Indiana's okay this year. And
Right.
I see the guy with the
Undefeated.
muscles when I go into the big tall guy that does the TV
McAfee.
thing now,
Pat
right?
McAfee.
Yeah, I see him on the Indy. I get around. I know what's
Right.
up. I just
Right.
don't talk college football a lot
Sure.
here
Sure.
because I'm
Sure.
as interested in it as I am the NBA, which I
I
used to be
got it.
really into it.
I'm not at all.
The
But go ahead.
goalpost last week at
Yes.
College Park.
Yes.
The minute it happened, I was wherever I was on a Saturday afternoon, and I
They
wrote
beat
like
USC.
the real USC, not South
Right.
Carolina.
No,
The real
real USC. Who's not
Miracle
very good this
comeback.
year.
They're 3-3. They're 3-3. The kids
Right.
stormed the field.
Right.
The goal, like
Got
the
to
whole
have something
deal.
to be happy about.
Where I put up that's a little bit like it's cute but pathetic. Like
Right.
at Ohio State, they don't do that. At real schools where you storm the field, you go to a bowl game, you win a division,
Yeah. Sure.
you beat a top 5 team, not a
Right.
ranked team, a top
Right.
you don't beat USC that's still crowing about OJ Simpson
Right.
and Matt Leinart, right?
Right.
Like
But they felt good. It felt good for the kids. They beat
you,
somebody that they have,
well, this is
that
where
has a
I
name.
want it. Your
That
kid
has a
went to
name.
Ohio State, Mr. Band guy. He's over in Ireland. He's done his turn. You're done. I hope you're done paying Ohio State as a Maryland
Oh
citizen.
yeah.
I just last week I got just violated online
because
I had
dissed
the
Maryland.
audacity. I didn't even diss Maryland. I dissed the concept of storming the field when you're a 3-3 team
Yeah.
and you beat a team that used to stand for something. Like I
And then this
I
week
thought it was
they got blown out.
and right. Well, so we have more clarity on this. Where were you on it when you saw it? Did you think like, I wish my kid went to
No, I thought it was silly.
silly.
Again, as you say, when the storming of the field should occur when you beat top 5 and you're not ranked. Or something like when Vanderbilt beat Alabama, right?
They called me out of touch and let the kids have fun.
Oh,
and I'm like, first off, everybody left it. The kids want to have fun, storm the field every week. They're
right.
in college.
No, the kids had fun. That's great. Good for them. But it's not a reflection of the team. It's that the kids at Maryland haven't beat anybody that matters in forever. So it matters. So let them have fun. Who cares?
I didn't care.
It doesn't matter.
I just found it electric that I'm Mr. Anti-Turp. And
No.
imagine, Leonard,
No.
my wife would laugh at this. Imagine me being called anti-fun.
Right.
Like I don't want to have fun.
Right.
I thought it was absurd.
You'll appreciate this. We were in Ohio State 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever, 3 years ago now. for a Penn State game. And Matthew told me that if Ohio State, it was a night game, if Ohio State beat Penn State that night, the kids were going to storm the field.
And there's a lot of kids and a lot of fields.
And the reason was they never get to do it because they're expected to win every game. So they won, and the kids went on the field and hung out with the players for the singing and the alma
beat
mater.
Ohio State.
Oh my God, that'd be a reason to storm the field.
You storm the field. I listen. I'm not anti-storm the field. I'm just not storming the field when you beat a 3-3 team barely by a point, and you're not very good to begin with. And I'm okay, and I'm even okay with. But the abuse that I took on
it's ridiculous.
I'm
People
anti-fun or whatever.
They should have stormed the field in Cleveland.
But it was the most commented thing until this Browns thing came along. Listen,
give it time.
I am Baltimore positive. You know this, despite how we feel politically about each other, especially
this week,
and all that. Well, I guess we'll still be friends next Wednesday.
Of course.
Either way.
Yep.
But I would say to you that when the team loses, and this is 26 years of owning WNST, that if I would have done nothing but taken phone calls about people bitching on money, I got in my car when the game ended Sunday. I ran over to Pizza John's after I watched Harbaugh. Harbaugh did his 4 minutes and stormed off and
said nothing.
I text my wife. I'm like, well, there's 3 days of my life. The fly to Cleveland on Saturday, to fly back on Monday. I'd be on a plane this morning because there's no flights out of there Sunday night, right? So to do all of that, to get 8 minutes of nothing after they lose a game like that, and to try to investigate why Marcus Williams wasn't playing, right? Amongst other things.
They're not telling.
Right, amongst other things. But it is unbelievable when they lose a game like this. Maybe the Browns fans should have stormed the field, right?
Right, that's what I said. The Browns fans should have stormed the field.
When they lose a game like this and trying to put it where everything goes wrong, right? They don't run the ball. They got Marcus Williams not on the field. The secondary's terrible. Humphrey's hurt. Wiggins is hurt. Everybody's feelings are hurt. Kyle Hamilton's feelings got hurt. Guys drop balls. Bateman dropped the ball in the sun. In the sun in Cleveland, Leonard. The sun never shines in Cleveland.
It hit
How
him
the
in
hell
the
does
face.
that happen?
It hit him in the face. Look, here's my comments on the game, and I have a few. First, we have, according to all people watching football, the potential back-to-back third-time MVP quarterback going into this game. And we are 4th and 1, and we don't take a field goal, which is first thing, but let's assume we go for it. Why do we direct snap to Henry? Does anyone think he's going to pass?
Well, Charlie Kohler was the first one.
No, well, the first one? I thought that was second. I thought that was later.
Either way, go ahead. You're right. You're right.
My point is, why are we snapping to Derrick Henry direct snap? Nobody thinks he's going to pass. So they just block it up and get the run. Put Lamar in there. Let's see what happens. Let's at least give it our best shot if we're not going to take the 3 points. That's number one.
Why
number
do you need chicanery to beat the Cleveland Browns?
Number two, Charlie Kohler. What are we doing putting Charlie Kohler under center? For what purpose? A sneak? Come on. Nonsense. Did you watch the Bears? They're trying to do the refrigerator Perry thing, and the guy fumbled on the goal line. Let's stop doing stupid stuff. We got the MVP of the league and the best running back in the league, and we're putting Charlie Kohler under center. All right, that's two. Number three, what gloves are these guys wearing that they can't catch footballs? I mean, really, Hamilton had a great game. It's a darn shame that one play will define the game because he had a great game. He was top on the defense, but dropping the game-winning fumble interception was a terrible thing. But you can't blame the game on him by any means. I mean, the defense in total was dreadful. Are we the last place defense in the
32,
league?
Yeah, 32. Yeah, they've given up a lot of points.
And a lot of yards.
And more than that.
Now we're giving up running yards in addition to passing yards. We can't stop the deep ball.
It's a time of possession issue. Even if they get a lead and playing with a lead with Derrick Henry.
Can't get off the field on third down.
Well, first and second down inefficiency.
On third down.
I mean,
for us, we couldn't convert a third down. We couldn't stop Cleveland on third down. And
I think a week after you see Tampa and you see what that 22-1 against the NFC, and then you see Jim Schwartz roll in here, who's been doing this for 30 years, and has game plan for Lamar
Well, how
multiple
many
times.
drop balls did they have? I think we between drop balls and dropped interceptions, it had to be 5 or 6 on the day at least at critical times. At critical times in the game.
Well, they're
So
always
that
a
was
game changer when you drop them.
yeah, that was ugly. That was just ugly. And as you said, I mean, we're playing fancy against the Browns defense, which was terrible. Eh. And their offense was dreadful, not to mention famous Jameis. Lobster, is it lobsters or crab legs? I don't remember which it was. You know the story there.
Yes, I know that story.
Um,
He was
whatever.
17 years old. Leave him alone.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever it was, he hasn't taken a snap in 2 years or a year and a half or something, and he went in and diced us up like he was Aaron Rodgers, who's not Aaron Rodgers anymore.
I thought his pregame was almost comical. It was just all God. It was all like, it was just strange.
Yeah,
and then he goes out and wins, and I'm like, maybe God likes him more than he likes Harbaugh.
That's right.
I don't know.
That's
maybe,
right.
I don't know. You know.
That's right. And that white boy up in Detroit, isn't that what he talked about after the game? He talked about Eminem and some line from a Eminem rap. I don't know. Something.
Jameis Winston, it's amazing because he goes into
Wherever.
that huddle after, everything that happened with Deshaun Watson, Flacco, all of that.
Yep.
And he's now 1-0, right? He came out, he did what he needed to do. And he wasn't great, but he was very good.
He was really good.
He was really good.
He hit what he needed to hit.
You can see where he throws high and long. You can see where he's just going to throw
interceptions
it. He's just
right there in their hands
and
3 times.
A little bit of that Brett Favre thing. He's just going to throw it.
3 interceptions.
You know what Flacco said to me? The only way that you win is to throw it.
Right.
You don't, like, Flacco had that mindset whenever
he kept throwing.
It's like, amnesia. The next best play is we're going to throw it again.
That's right.
And I'm going to, and if I think I can make the play, I'm going to try to make the play. I'm always going to try to make the play. And
take the points.
That guy.
Take
and
the
what does
points.
He have to lose 1-6?
Nothing.
Gunslinging.
Nothing. That's it. They came in. They had a great game. They played well above their record in their head. And we played to their level and let them overtake the game. And it was dreadful. I'm not one of these guys to say fire the coach. I'm not about that. But the defense has got to get something happening.
Well, we're starting to question the Zach Orr thing, and then they bring in Pease. Yeah. But I don't think it's even fair to judge him in a week when Marlon Humphrey's not playing, Nate Wiggins isn't playing.
Right.
But when
2 linemen not playing, two linemen hurt.
They got guys running vertically to get lined up when the ball's being snapped by Jameis Winston.
Is that horizontally?
Vertically, or was it horizontally?
Across the line of scrimmage.
Vertically across my screen. How about that? That's what I meant.
Yeah, looking, and no timeout called there.
Running sideways to the line of scrimmage.
Between the lineman and the ball.
Perpendicular. I'll just go with a different
direction.
direction.
Between the lineman and the ball. How about that? That was sad defense.
What the hecular?
Right, and what's the third? It was 2nd and 15. 1st and 15 was Hamilton dropping the ball. 2nd and 15 was a 40-yard. The back was nowhere to be found. The guy was 15 yards in the clear. It's ridiculous. I mean, what is going on? Who's covering that receiver?
There was a lot of that going on, and it's been
bad.
It
was bad. And then I hate to say it, but my buddy Justin Tucker.
Yeah, I was going to get into that. Leonard
50.
Raskin is here. He is Raskin Global. He handles money and the American dream. We're all dreaming here this week of they got 2 games, Denver and Cincinnati, very close.
In a week.
I was going to bring the Tucker thing up with you while I promote Royal Farms and chicken. Look, at some point, we all, not me personally on the radio, but others slow down a little bit.
Look,
and I don't know where that slowdown period is.
Age has not lost a battle yet.
It's undefeated. Father Time
undefeated.
It's the grand prize winner.
That's right.
But 50-yard
Mortality
field goal is still a 50-yard
100%.
field goal. It's not supposed to be automatic. He's supposed to miss what? 1 out of every 4, 1 out of every 5, whatever.
4 out of every 5.
But he's made 12 out of every 13 50-yard field goals, which is
prior.
Against when he was 26, when he was 24, when he was 28. I don't know where that is.
I don't either.
You start to get to the point where it's like we've been conditioned to think differently here in a lot of ways.
Automatic.
Lamar's changed the way we look at the games in
Yep.
recent times.
Yep.
I think it's changed the way we do fourth down dramatically. I
Yeah.
think the way the game is played now with a running game. So less kicks in a general sense, less punts, you have more turnovers or a fourth down conversion and you keep going. Maybe you score a touchdown, maybe you get a better kick. So many teams when they get to that 40, 42, 44-yard line, they start angling to
Yep.
where can I get to the 34 to make it a 51
Yeah.
yard field goal? We were like, once we hit the 50-yard line, we're like, we'll let him kick 56,
Yeah.
58,
No
60,
worries.
no problem.
Again,
And
you said you're
knowing,
not.
and he always comes back and he makes it.
That's
That's
right.
not friggin' normal, dude. That's not normal
No,
against
it
the
has
scope
been.
of anything.
Has been.
We've been a different football team for a decade.
Because.
Flacco to him and then him to Lamar
Yep.
and just all of it. And I don't know that it's going to be managed that way if he's going to continue to be the kicker, because I don't think you're going to send him out there to hit 57 and 58 and 60-yard field
I'm
goals
with you.
anymore.
I'm with you. Certainly not into the wind. I don't know if you saw. I know you didn't see the Colorado game. Dion's family game. The college game.
We already went through this. I barely watched Maryland.
Right. I'm just saying.
Saturday.
So Colorado has this interesting thing that I haven't seen anywhere else. On the sideline, on their sideline, when the offense is on the field, they have a pole with a yellow flag on it. Okay, on the sidelines, and that pole with the yellow flag is the line of scrimmage they need to get to put their kicker out for a field goal, so that the offense knows where they have to get to get a field goal try. Because when you're watching on TV, they have that beautiful green line on the field that says field goal, but nobody else can see it. So they have this pole on the sideline, so there's no question for the offense.
College is different too because nobody's kicking a 55-yard field goal, right?
There are a couple. Really? There's a couple.
Okay. Yeah.
Only a couple, but that's the point. The offense knows where they need to get to make their kicker comfortable. And it's a big yellow flag on the sidelines, like a pit crew, so they can all see it. So when they're playing
it's like
the
new end zone.
Right. They know where to go, which is kind of clever. And you always hear about Tucker talking to Harbaugh before the game. I'm good from this distance. And you heard the announcers say he was missing some from 50, 51, 53 in warm-ups. So,
well, this will give me a chance for you to talk a little bit of money this week.
Yeah, sure.
As we have this huge election, we have things going on.
Yes.
People get freaky about pulling money out, putting money, whatever your thoughts are on all of that. But I find it interesting that whenever I knew the first time I wanted to buy something, I told you I bought a big screen TV. It was $3,000.
Yeah.
I needed to have 25. It was 25, whatever it was. I needed to get that money. That was the benchmark of where I needed to be. And I think when people save money, you want to save and say, how can I get to 10,000? How can I get to 25,000? How can I get to 50,000?
Absolutely.
And you when that monthly statement, I do this with my own business.
Sure.
How do this month I have this much in the bank. I want to have that much in the bank. And then I can do this and then I can do that.
Yeah.
Goals, right? Like goals.
You look at your key metrics.
But you mentioned that little yellow flag. That yellow flag's not even the end zone. It's just where you need to be right now.
To kick
and
a
I
field
think
goal.
for a lot of people, they think $1 billion in Walea and my retire. Like, no. You're always managing people to say, let's turn a nickel into a dime and a dime into a quarter and a quarter into a right.
Small steps.
That's the way it
works.
Small
steps. Manage your cash flow. Small steps. The goal. So here's the big goal. The big goal is win the game. The big goal is win the game. Okay. The small goal is save 20% of your gross income every year and put that away appropriately to win the game. And the smaller goal is how much am I saving right now of my gross income? And if that's 2% or 4% or 5%, then how do we get it up 1%? That's next. And then the next thing is every time your income increases, how do you save a larger percentage of the increase? Because if you're living okay now, then you should be able to live okay when you earn more without spending all of the more. So save more of the future increases, and suddenly, before you know it, you'll be at that 20% of gross. And when you're at 20% of gross, you can do all kinds of things with your savings to begin to protect your wealth, to begin to invest your wealth, to begin to recognize that your future is being taken care of, which gives you a lot more freedom in the present. That if you want to go to Cleveland to watch a game, or you want to go wherever you want to go to do whatever you want to do, or the
See
car
Duran
breaks
Duran.
down. Yeah, or the car breaks down, or you need a new roof, or whatever it is, that it doesn't put you into debt because you have reserves. You've accounted for that. It's the backup lineman, it's the backup safety, it's the backup cornerback. When you have those tools, you're able to choose how you play differently. And then once you start putting that money away, start investing for your future, protect your future, suddenly you get a lot more freedom in the present. When you have more freedom in the present, you attract more wealth to you. How does that happen? Well, you put yourself in a different place, both mindset, you know, I don't know who said it, but somebody once said, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. It starts between your ears. And then once you start having a mentality of abundance and opportunity, it's weird how the world works, but you draw abundance and opportunity to you. It's like, look, we all watched Winnie the Pooh. There were two characters on there that everybody remembers, Tigger and Eeyore. And they lived totally different lives. And it was to teach kids, let's face it. Tigger was always having fun and doing and going and carefree, and life was grand, and everything was his oyster. He was having a ball. And Eeyore was, everything was a cloud. Everything was dreadful. Everything was horrible. And guess what? Horrible things happened to him continuously. He attracted bad. He attracted negative. Now, it wasn't all negative because it was a cartoon and it was for kids. But you can see clearly that attitude begets altitude. And people that have positive attitudes are a hell of a lot better off and moving in direction than those that are negative about whatever. And some people are negative about everything. Some
Well, that's why
people
you
are
call it
positive
a
about
positive.
everything.
If I call it positive enough, it kind of forces me to have that in the golf club.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. And so that's how people roll.
But I could
And
bring out the
so,
hammer on Zach Orr and Justin Tucker this week, and all that, right?
right. Look, I believe everyone on that field is paid, and it's hard to beat somebody being paid that has a better day than you. And Browns had a better day, and so the hope is we get our stuff together. They watch the film, they understand what's going on, and they got a quick week coming up, a big week coming up because you got Denver, and then you got the Bengals here, and that's what, Thursday night. So you got two in 4 days. That's the hardest thing to do. It's really hard. Those Thursday night games are never easy. I never played one, but just going to the game twice in a week is tough. Playing
I was
it,
going to say, yeah, you got to rest up because you got that going on.
yeah, because
Imagine
I
if
got to
we had
go
all
to the
these
game.
World Series games this week at
Yeah,
$1,500 a throw or
yeah.
whatever,
Just
right?
imagine. Well, imagine. We'll imagine next week and see what happens.
I'd like to imagine that I'm wearing Dodger blue to support them in my Raskin Global
Yes,
gear.
yes,
Leonard
I
Raskin
agree.
does the American Dream. You can find him at RaskinGlobal.com. He's also right on the front of Baltimore Positive, looking all sharp and all presidential this week as well. And busy week ahead, couple of football games ahead. I'm glad I got to talk to you because I missed you last week. We were passing ships, but I really wanted to talk about that storming the field thing in College Park because
Yeah,
I took on I'm like, I know I'm not wrong. It's not, and I'm not being an old guy. I
right.
know I'm not. I've watched college fields get stormed. This is not an
Yeah,
occasion to do that. But you kids it's cute. You kids have a good time. I think
right.
it's a little pathetic from a fan
Tennessee beating
standpoint, but it's cute.
Alabama. Vanderbilt beating Alabama.
Well, Vanderbilt now. I've been to that stadium. So I've seen Vanderbilt. I saw Jay Cutler play there years ago.
Yeah,
But the Ravens played in that stadium against the
against
Tennessee All.
Titans.
Nah, they were the Allers then.
The
They were still
Allers.
the Allers. They were wearing Allers that day.
There you
And
go.
I
The
remember Eric
Allers.
Green had to line up and play guard because they Marcia Broder ran out of players on the
Oh,
offensive line. Leo
my
Goaz.
goodness.
So nonetheless, I remember being there. And by the way, I love Vanderbilt. If you ever get a chance to go to a Vanderbilt basketball game,
That's
the
supposed to be a great
the
arena.
arena is one of the unique. I saw
Supposed to be,
Alabama play
yeah.
basketball there.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in Nashville. 25 when Schwartz was coach. I had a girlfriend
Right,
there.
sure.
I was in Nashville before it all grew all up. Right.
Well, here's the thing. Speaking of that, Ohio State, they did storm the basketball court when they beat Duke, when Duke was number one, and
Well,
they were
see, this is what I was going to say.
unranked.
That was my pooping on the Terps fans. I'm like, so are you going to storm the field when you beat Duke at football?
Right.
I'm thinking that's sort of what that felt like beating USC in football at this point. But I'll say this: it's a long
It's a
way.
big name in the Big Ten.
I call the Vanderbilt Stadium the erector set because when you
Yeah.
drive by it, it looks like a carnival erector set was put. I mean, it's a wild little stadium, and they did play an NFL game there, and I saw an NFL one of the 8 that they ever played there, right? Vanderbilt Stadium. But to take that goalpost from there down the
To the
West
river.
End to the river,
And
that's
dunk
a
it.
hell of a walk, dude.
That's a lot of carry. It's a lot
That's
of
a
people.
long way,
It's a
dude.
lot of carry.
I mean, that's like
That
Penn
is
Station.
committed. That's
Dude,
committed.
that's Penn Station to the aquarium.
That's people committed to the
It's a long
cause.
way. You know what I mean? It's not.
I'm saying they're committed to the cause.
And
That's
I
a big one.
watched, dude, the night that happened, I watched that on a live stream as it
Yep.
was happening.
Yep.
Like it was showing up on Twitter. The goalposts have made it, to the West End. They made it right past the
Absolutely.
hot chicken place.
It was big news. Big news.
And I know that whole road really
It's a
well.
great place. It's a great city.
I've Ubered it many times.
You
I've
and me.
taxied it.
You and
But
me.
I ain't never walked from Vandy Stadium to the river.
No, I'm not doing
Vanderbilt.
that. That's
And
why they
I
made
at
cars.
least thought the Terps fans, they showed some level of restraint by not trying to take the goalpost, even across campus to Ritchie Coliseum.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Leonard
that doesn't
Raskin is
exist,
here.
but
He is
that's
Raskin
okay.
Global. He's voting for the wrong guy this week. I'm highly encouraging him and everyone
All
else.
the
to
wrong
make their
guys,
position.
right? All the wrong guys.
So I'll say this, and I'm going to drop the ball on this for you because I'm not anti-Republican. I voted for a lot of them. I'm not pro-Democrat. I think some of them have been awful, right?
You vote for the right person.
So I try to vote for people,
That's right.
in regard.
That's right.
The guy running for president of the United States this week, the orange
Yep.
guy who ran
Yep.
the country,
Yep.
is batshit insane, and it's crazy, and nobody should vote for him. But I'll say this: I have a real problem on the
Except
Senate
half the
race.
country.
I haven't voted this week. Okay.
Well, you got a few days left.
No. I'm going to vote like I always vote. I'm going to vote on voter day.
Yeah,
Because that's
Tuesday.
the way I do it. That's what I
next
do.
Tuesday.
That's the way I do it. It's the way
Right.
I'm going to.
Right.
I've mailed in, and I'm fine with. I'm not anti. I've mailed in a couple times. Just this year, I decided I wasn't going to fart with it. I'm just
Sure,
gonna
sure.
vote. So, because it makes me feel good. It makes me think of my
Well, you
mom.
got another
It's
week to
something I
make
did
up
with my
to make up
mother.
your mind, to get right and make up your mind.
Well, here's where it is. The also Brooks Hogan thing.
Yes.
All right. It's the first time I
Yes.
brought this up on the air because I wasn't going to, and I'm not going to be a dick on social media one way or another. Okay. I have spent considerable time with Larry Hogan, right?
Yeah,
Larry
sure.
Hogan has been at my events,
Sure.
battling cancer, my wife battling cancer, spoke at the event I had with Mike Tomlin and
Yeah.
like all of that, right? Larry Hogan has sat with me as a sitting governor
Yep.
with Don Moeller. He didn't like Don liked him, and they all
Yeah.
pretend they like, it's all bourgeois, right? And I was like to Don, I'm like, that would have been a better interview if you weren't here because like he doesn't like you and it's combustible. And I felt like I was in the middle of a Democrat and a Republican, and I didn't want
Right.
to referee. I
Right.
wanted to like interview Larry
Have a
Hogan.
conversation. Exactly.
Here, I think Larry Hogan is full of manure. And that's from me sitting with him, sitting next to him. I felt like he was disingenuous. I felt all of that, right? I saw him later, a year later, when he was still sitting governor at the Preakness. And I said, Governor Hogan, you're going to come back on the show? He's like, I did your show last year.
Well, that's enough.
That's the last thing he said to me. It's the last thing that he's ever said, like next to him, right? And Angela also, Brooks.
I say, has she been on?
Here's where we're going. Here's where we're going. I'm telling you as my Republican
go ahead.
friend, right?
Go ahead.
Like you and I don't agree on any of this.
No,
but
go ahead.
I'm opening my I'm cleansing my soul with you, okay? All right, I'm cleansing my soul.
Let's hear it.
Angela Alsobrooks is a woman I have never met.
Right.
Okay. I can't say that I really knew what she looked like until the commercials, both sides.
Yeah,
she's
sure.
a tax cheat. She's the greatest.
Right.
She's this, whatever it is. I see her face now. I've heard her voice a handful of times.
Yeah, yeah.
I've watched the debate, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
and the debates they're awful. They're
Right.
not done by somebody like me.
Terrible.
They're all handed the questions. They're not, everybody's tippy-toeing and
No truth.
Governor, Mr. Governor, Miss County Executive. How about you're just a citizen at this point?
Right.
You're running for
That's right.
office.
That's
Let's not call you by anything other.
You're not king. You work for us.
And if you
we're
are
looking.
the
It's a
sitting
job
governor,
interview. It's a job interview, and we're looking to hire you to work for
if
us.
I'm sitting with Westmore, I obviously would call him Governor Moore because
Sure.
it's respectful.
Sure.
But when he's the former governor, he's just Wes.
That's right.
Bob Ehrlich's just the guy at my wedding who lied to me. He's just Bob. Or Robert to his family. So nonetheless, Angela Alsobrooks, I just want to say this, like, I'm being really honest with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I haven't talked to anybody. I haven't even talked to my wife about this. I did before she left last week. Angela Alsobrooks is people. I've never met her.
Yep.
People twice agreed, made a date with me to come on the show.
Yeah.
Twice on these airwaves, I had said she's coming to State Fair to sit and talk about Baltimore issues, senatorial issues, abortion, whatever, storming the
Right.
Capitol,
Right.
how much Trump, whatever she wants to talk about, right?
Sure.
Like
Her
all of
her
that, right?
floor. Her floor.
Twice we had a date in the summer.
Yep.
I was canceled on 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. We made a new date. Can't wait to be on Baltimore Positive back. I mean, dozens and dozens of texts. She's a
Yeah,
county
sure.
executive. She's not a
Sure.
citizen. She's busy. She's running a county. She's running
Okay.
for senator.
Great.
I respect all that. She's out raising money because your team has these PACs and billionaires and
Both do.
Goofy
They all
Musk throwing all this money in to
I
do
think
the
they all
negative,
do.
whatever. But Maryland was targeted by the party with $125 million. So it is what
Sure.
it is, right? So not going to affect me. Larry Hogan's lying about voting for abortion. He's lying about not support. He's been a Republican. Like, I get all of that. I don't believe Larry Hogan will go and side with Democrats in D.C. I don't believe that. So therefore, I can't pull the lever for him, right? Because
Sure.
I just don't. I don't think he's honest. I mean, I sat
hear
next to him. I think he's a politician. And I don't know if he stole money in Frederick and this and that and the land. I don't know
They're
if
all
also
politicians. That's what they
save
do.
some money on her taxes. I don't care. I care how you're going to govern
Yep.
and whether you're an honest person or not. Angela Alsobrooks made a date with me a month ago, again, during my Oyster tour,
Yep.
State Fair. I had an ad running here for 3 weeks. They canceled on me, and I have not received a communication from anybody on her team or anybody on Hogan's team. Hogan is run by Kelso. Tom Kelso, he's been on this show for hours and hours on
Yeah.
end. Tom Kelso was on my show so long that Craig Thompson and Wes Moore thought I was a Republican. I got accused of being a Republican on opening day. So you can see how convoluted the world can be when you're accusing me of being a Republican.
Maybe they talk to the Orioles.
So nonetheless, Angela Alsobrooks canceled on me and has completely, and she hasn't just ghosted me. This isn't F you to Nestor. This is my audience. This is
Right.
this is you getting to hear from Angela Alsobrooks.
I get
you
it.
might vote
I'm
for
with
her,
you.
right? Like, I am blown away by it. Two people running for. I'm blown away by an African-American woman in Prince George's County who has a Q of about 0 in Baltimore.
Yep.
Everybody knows who Larry Hogan is. Everybody, every
Right.
white guy, everybody that has ever
Absolutely.
listened to AM radio, has ever been to my brand. The 37% women that I have across every spectrum in social media who
Yep.
follow my work. I have not met Angela Alsobrooks. I've not been in a room with her ever. And every time I get offered to be in a room with her, it's friends of Angela Alsobrooks who want $1,000 check to be in a room with her.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to abstain. I'm going to vote, I guess.
Right.
And I didn't even want to bring this up, especially not with you, with a Republican, to make it sound like I'm being, because if I put out on social media how I've been treated by Angela Alsobrooks as a citizen, as a
Yep.
host, as a radio host, as somebody that's done this for 40 years, as somebody that offered her hours of free time because the pieces would run again.
Sure.
To think that she's ducking me and then ghosting me unprofessionally. At least
Absolutely.
Chad Steele got back to me. He's a coward, but he got back to me. Greg Bader doesn't get back to me. He's a coward. It's different. Dude, I'm 56 years old. I'm front facing for anyone that calls me, writes me. I'm a public figure for 40 years. And I can't believe that two people running for senator in where they need the votes here. Whether I reach
absolutely.
Whether it's just you and me talking in a tin can, or whether I can prove the 59,000 people that have been to my website in the last 30 days, because that's the number, right?
Yep.
Literally.
Yep.
So different people.
I get it.
Different people.
I get it.
If those people don't have value to you, and the only time you're going to come to Baltimore County is to show up at a wing ding, it's $1,000 a plate, so that I can give you money that you're going to give to WBAL and Jay-Z to run an ad. I am as fed up with politics as I was 8 years ago when your goofball ran for president to begin with, and I saw the dividing lines of just nothing's true. You're employing people. You're running Prince George's County, and you can't send me back a text just telling me I'm worthless. Because when you send me a text, when you don't return a text,
That's what
you're
it
telling
says.
me I am worthless, and my business is worthless, and my audience is worthless. Angela
Pretty
also Brooks
pathetic.
and
Pretty
Larry
pathetic.
Hogan. I've already like the fact that Tom Kelso has returned 25 texts and he's running your campaign and tells me that Mike Ricci doesn't want you on my airwaves because you don't want to talk abortion with me, but you want to be a senator of the United States. You want to be a senator and your people can't return an email to me?
That's
Shame,
bad.
shame,
Both
shame.
of them.
I'll tell you this. Say whatever you want about Ben Cardin. Ben Cardin's people were professional.
Yep.
All Dutch Rupersberger, professional. I'll go. Larry Hogan's people were professional when he was the governor. When
Yeah.
he was the governor, his people got back to me.
I hear you.
Like I own a radio station. I'm not a big deal. I'm not a big shot. But guess who is? My audience.
There you
Your
go.
voters. Your voters. You want me to give you money to give to Jay-Z, and I offer you free airtime
Right.
and a free audience, but the price is you have to answer questions. You don't just get to put the
None
ad
of them
on
want that.
attacking Hogan or attacking
None of
Ulster
them
books.
want
It's
that.
gross. It's
They don't want it.
gross.
They
It's
don't want it.
gross.
They're all
That's
afraid.
all I'm going to say.
They're
You
all
want to
afraid.
run for senator in Maryland? I've had every governor that's ever been, including the one running for senator, has been in this radio station.
They're all afraid, man. They don't want none of them.
They're all afraid of whatever soundbite they're going to say when I ask them.
That's
Let
right.
me get this straight, Uncle Larry. I'm going to vote for you because you know why, Larry? I voted for you for governor. I'm the Democrat that voted for you, dude.
Yep.
I
Yep.
voted for you. I pimped you out. I gave
They're
you a
all
chance
afraid
as a
of that.
moderate
Like you said,
Republican.
it's that
I'm a
one.
real citizen that's not
It's that
nutty
one soundbite.
Democrat.
It's
I'm
that one soundbite
anti-nutty
they don't want anybody to
Republican, right?
take.
But I am. I really am in the lane. I have voted for 2 Republican governors in this century. I
Yeah.
have voted for Bob Ehrlich. I have voted for Larry Hogan. And when it comes time for Larry Hogan to come on my airwaves and give me his position, his people pretend I don't exist. It's I'm outraged but not shocked,
No.
and I'm
The good news
disgusted.
is,
I'm
in a week,
disgusted.
it's over, and then
And these
we
MFers have
start.
my phone has not stopped going off with give
Right.
me money, give me money.
Right.
I mean,
That's all they want.
we are just at a really,
You
really
and me.
dirty place in America right now.
I
And
agree.
I really hope it
I
doesn't go
agree.
your way next week. Because
Well, I really
it'll
hope
go a lot worse.
I hope the same for you.
And I know that. I know that. Leonard Raskin is here. I am wearing blue here this week for the Dodgers, though. Just
There
for
we go.
not for Angela Alsterbrooks necessarily, because I just went through my little. Was that independent enough for you?
Sure, absolutely. Look, it's the facts. That's all that matters. Just state the facts. Let's get
You're the
answers
crazy
to the
Republican that
questions.
writes me a check sponsoring WNST, and people don't. They think like I have to like have an agenda. Especially when Mueller was sitting next to me, everybody's
Nonsense.
like, "Oh, you're just preaching it." No, you don't understand. He tried to shoehorn that into me, right? All
Right.
of that. We're gonna make nicey, and it's all that. That's smile fornication.
There you go.
That John Harbaugh does when he's lying to you. Dude, you're running for senator. Madam, or dude,
Answer the
in Larry's
questions.
case, madam in Angela Alsterbrooks' case, you're running for senator and you're
Yep.
running from a Dundalk citizen
Yeah,
that
you
has
should.
an audience. You're
If
running
nothing
for
else,
me,
if
and the
nothing
only
else,
way I
you'll
have
get
access
your
to you is to write
talking points.
$1,000 check.
You'll get your talking points in. So what? That's what they do. They're professionals at it.
It's gross,
Well,
nonetheless.
there we are.
Politics, and I'm glad we did that because
There we go.
I feel cleansed. I feel like I can unbutton my shirt. Leonard Raskin is here. He's voting for one guy. I'm Nestor Aparicio. I am definitely voting for the woman. And I would highly encourage all of you, no matter which side
Vote.
you're on,
Just vote.
vote. We're
Make
in America.
it heard. That's
Make your
right.
voice
What a
heard.
right. What an amazing right we have
Absolutely.
to
And
choose
if your
who
guy wins, your wife won't have any rights
works
anymore.
for us.
He is Leonard Raskin. That's my
If that
little
comes
cheat.
up
I had
for
to
her
give
at
it.
this point, shame on. Well, something weird is going on. I'll tell you that.
Well, but it still is an issue.
For some.
Ask her. She'll tell
For
you.
some.
I'm having her on next week if your guy loses. When your guy loses. Leonard Raskin is here. He is Raskin Global. This is fun. Going back. By the way, I had the Republican pollster I
Yeah.
invited him onto the show to give
Yeah.
me the whole how all the Republicans are going to win, and he abstained this week because he wants to limit all the traffic to his own podcast. And I said, I was here to promote your podcast. Like I don't.
Right.
We're
Right.
dogs. We're just in a different place, dude. You know,
I hear you,
when
man.
you're running for senator and you're running from me because you're afraid of my questions, you're not qualified to be senator. I mean, really.
Amen.
I mean, amen.
Well, we got
I'll drop the
we're
mic
over
on that.
two. We're
All
over
right,
two.
we're on to Denver. He's Leonard
On to
Raskin.
Denver.
We're hopefully on to a Dodgers parade as well. Back for more. We're Baltimore Positive. Stay with us.